Welcome to Around the NHL, presented by Chase, Michelle Gingras, alongside Anson Carter. Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Coming up, Dave Gosher joins the show later on to chat Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas series. You won't want to miss that. And we've got a special weekend edition of Say What coming your way as well. But Ace, first, obviously, today marks the 19th anniversary of 9/11. It's a day we'll never forget. And because we're in September now and it's such a strange hockey year, we're playing hockey today, but we're not usually playing hockey at this time of year. I'm curious, when you reflect back on that time, what were you doing when you heard the news and when basically kind of felt like the whole world stopped?
Yeah, I was in Edmonton, I believe, at the time, playing for the Edmonton Oilers, and we had a day off. It was during training camp, I believe, also. And I remember waking up sore as usual during training camp and, kind of having one eye open, not having my contacts in yet, I could barely see the TV screen, and seeing the images on the TV screen. And then I kept changing channel after channel after channel. It's the same images all the time. And the first thing I could think of is, like, did somebody hack the news stations? Like, what's going on? This can't be real. There's no way planes could actually be flying into buildings in New York City. And then I made a few phone calls to buddies, and they said it was real. And just to think that how much time we spent as athletes in the air on planes. And Ace Bailey was a guy that was, involved in, one of the plane crashes too, former LA Kings scout. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. It was heartbreaking. And then to play against the New York Rangers not too long after that and tour the 9/11 site and see that it was still smoldering and still smoking. It really hit home. I mean, we had a lot of former Rangers in the New York Rangers, former Oilers, and New York Rangers. I can't even focus. It's such a intense memory. Former Oilers in the New York Rangers organization, led by Glenn Sather. And, it was amazing to talk to them and to see the impact that it had on the Rangers organization, and see Mark Messier and those guys really try to do their best to help New York try to heal and recover.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I was in 7th grade, I think, and I was in Florida at the time, and we were watching it on television. And at first, the teachers wanted to turn it off the TVs because they were afraid I don't think we understood the magnitude of what was going on. And I don't think I actually fully grasped it until I got home that day and, kind of talked to my parents. My mom's from New York. We have a lot of family out here. And then you started to understand it a little bit more, and having family, that are firefighters and family who are detectives. It was a very scary day once you started to understand everything that was going on. And so I know, I just want to say that we remember those souls each and every day, and especially want to honor the heroes today that lost their lives that day and in the years following, just the after effects of all of this. We'll never forget, and we honor you, and we thank you for your service and your help. So it's hard always to transition after something like that, but I do want to transition to Game 3 of the Western Conference. Vegas taking on the Dallas Stars. Obviously, it was a pivotal Game 3. Vegas outshot Dallas 40-23, but Dallas got the overtime winner. They take a 2-1 lead in the series. Ace, what are your thoughts on Game 3?
It was a crazy game. To think about the swings in that game and watch Vegas come back time and time again, and then to lose that game in overtime 31 seconds in. I was watching that game because of the night off, and I was just settling into my couch getting ready for some overtime action. And then I see Alex Radulov flying down the wing and scoring a perfect goal. I mean, you couldn't have shot that puck any better. He has the puck on this off wing. He pulls it in, so he changes the angle. You could see that Robin Leonard dips his shoulder because he thinks he's going short side, and he shoots it back against the grain, off the post and in. That was a perfect shot. But,
and apparently he had his eyes closed.
Right? Totally just praying that it went in. And that's the only way you could beat a guy like Robin Leonard. Like, he's been on. But flip the other way, too. Anton Khudobin was playing out of his mind.
Incredible.
I pulled my groin several times watching some of those saves that he made. Not quitting, not wanting to give up the net, just battling for his teammates. Like, he's a quintessential number 2 netminder, a backup goalie. And I'm saying that respectfully because your number 1 guy, he's going to get his starts. He's the guy. But your number 2 guy is the guy that takes slap shots off the head in practice. He stays out late for extra work. But when he gets to that net, he's going to come in and battle and compete. And that's what Anton Hudobin did. He competed for the Dallas Stars.
Absolutely. We're going to dive deeper into that series in the next segment. So let's switch gears and look ahead to Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final. Alex Killorn serving that one-game suspension. So what does the absence of Killorn mean for the Lightning?
It's a tough loss for them, but they could overcome it. I think it's really going to determine whether or not Braden Point's ready to play. I think that's going to be the key. Alex Killorn's playing down the lineup, so they're going to miss him as a net front presence on the power play and also his physicality on the forecheck because that's a big part of the Lightning DNA. But they're really going to miss Braden Point if he's not in. He didn't finish last game, so I don't want to speculate at this point.
Right.
But Braden Point not being on that top line, they had to reunite the triplets line from years past that took the Tampa Bay Lightning to the final with Tyler Johnson and Nikita Kucherov and Andre Palat. And that triple line came back. They weren't as effective as they were in previous years, but you saw the impact it had in Nikita Kucherov's game. He wasn't really the same player without having a player like Braden Point transporting that puck to the neutral zone, playing that give-and-go hockey. But as a superstar player is and plays and does, Nikita Kucherov only needs one shot and one opportunity. And he came through in a big way with 8.8 seconds to go in the hockey game.
All right, let's switch gears to the award winners. The Selke Trophy winner announced last night. To the top defensive forward, Patrice Bergeron, Sean Couturier, and Ryan O'Reilly were the finalists. Sean Couturier wins this one. He led the NHL in face-off percentages, an area that you said could be a real difference maker in games and really set the tone. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a good pick. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those players. Ryan O'Reilly, Stanley Cup champion. He's great in the face-off circle too. Patrice Bergeron is always up for nomination. It seems like all these awards, once you get nominated one time, you're always in the mix. You're always in the mix.
9 times for Patrice Bergeron. He's won it 4, but I couldn't believe that. 9 times.
Always, like, you're always going to be in the mix for Emmy contention, too. You know what I mean? Like, once you get nominated, they're going to say Michelle for Emmys, like, time and time again. Like, that's...
Oh, well, I'm still waiting for that to happen, so...
Well, it's coming. It's coming. I'm sending this tape in today. Like,
all right, put me on the ballot. Yeah.
I got you. But Sean Couturier, honestly, it's well-deserved. You look at what AV did coming into that organization when he signed as the head coach, and he wanted to lower the goals against for the Philadelphia Flyers. Kevin Hayes played a big part in that, but Sean Couturier did too. He's facing all the team's top matchups, the best offensive players, while also scoring goals himself. Like, it's a top defensive forward, but you have to contribute offensively too. You just can't turn your stick over the other side when it comes to the offensive zone. So he's contributing offensively, but his work on the penalty kill, on his faceoffs, that was huge for the Philadelphia Flyers with turning around their defensive struggles from the previous year.
Absolutely. The Lady Byng winner will be announced later on as well. That's given to the player who combines sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and ability. Tremendous respect for Ryan O'Reilly. He's nominated for that as well. Also 2 nominations for Nathan McKinnon. He's also nominated for the Ted Lindsay. Austin Matthews is the 3rd finalist there. Who do you think maybe gets this one, takes it home?
That's a tough one. I mean, it's hard to play the game without getting any PIMs, as penalty minutes as the short form for that. It's so hard. And a lot of times, guys in the league, they don't want the Lady Byng because you're seen as being soft if you get the Lady Byng.
Interesting.
Just trip someone. Like, trip somebody. Get upset. Smash your stick against the glass for crying out loud. Jeez, do something. Show some emotion. But it really is a real testament to those players that are nominated that they could play the game and be disciplined and not take dumb penalties. I think it's going to probably I think Austin Matthews might end up getting it. Maybe Nathan McKinnon's a close second, but Austin Matthews is a guy that I think could be in that conversation with the Lady Byng because he plays the game at a high level. He never takes penalties, and he's great with the stick. You're talking about Sean Couturier taking pucks away from players. Well, I think Austin Matthews is just as good as it gets, just like a guy like Mark Stone also.
And since we're on the awards, I do recall asking you who you thought would win the Conn Smythe, and you said Jordan Binghamton. So that's obviously not going to happen. Who do you think is the front runner for the award now?
Say what? I don't think you asked me that question. I think we're going to burn that tape. I don't recall that at all. But now that we're in the conversation, it depends on which teams I think are going to get there. If Dallas gets there, Lady Byng, Jamie Byng. Jamie Benn has to be the person for sure.
Yeah.
The way he's leading the Dallas Stars. If you're looking at Vegas, I'm looking at Robin Leonard, or maybe Shea Theodore is a very close second, contributing those points and playing big minutes. If we're talking with Tampa Bay Lightning, if Braden Point is back, he has to be in the conversation. Andre Vasilevsky.
Wow.
It's a little bit difficult with Tampa Bay because you got Victor Hedman in that conversation too.
That's what I was going to suggest. Yeah, because you have to.
He's in that conversation too. And when the New York Islanders, I know there's a lot of people out there that want to see Anthony Beauvillier get in the conversation. We're going to put that to rest right now. Right now. Okay, for all you Islander fans that love Beauvillier, we know who you guys are out there. We're putting that to rest. I'm going Matthew Barzal as my guy. And maybe Anders Lee is a close second.